Manchester United Football Club are reportedly holding meetings in the coming hours to decide the future of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He could lose his job as early as today, but no decision at this point has been made. There are further reports from the mainstream media that Antonio Conte is the hot favourite to replace Solskjaer should he lose his job. However, Antonio Conte is looking for reassurances in relation to the club's structure. He is not convinced that Man United will give him what he needs to be successful. And one of the biggest demands is that he is not forced to play or forced to buy marketable players over individuals that he believes will yield the best results on the field of play. That in itself is damning news to Manchester United fans to hear, that the structure is still a major cause for concern at this football club. We're going to go through some of the updates from the Manchester Evening News, Samuel Luckhurst, some of the international press, and of course Fabrizio Romano as well. But we are taking your calls on this show today. I know a lot of Man United fans and a lot of rivals have got things to say. The link is pinned to the live comment section for you to speak, to tell us what you think and feel. You can, if you want to have a little bit of fun today, you can super chat in and try and guess our secret phrase that you can see there. No one's guessed it right yet. We are giving away a free football shirt as well. But smash that like button. Could Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finally lose his job today? I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. Let's do this. Good morning and welcome back to the terrace. Listen, I'm one of these people, I really tell you now, it was a painful day for Man United Football Club. I'd already come to the realization myself that we were going to get slapped. I just knew it, and I could see it coming. And there's so much irony in yesterday's result and in yesterday's game. It's unbelievable, really. I was talking to KJ this morning, and there's a lot of arguments among Ole Illers and Ole Outers. I was right, you were wrong, but I was right about this. Yeah, but you got that wrong, but you got this right, but you got that wrong. Do you know the maddest part is Man United fans have been arguing over Man United's attacking style of play for 2 years, and it's not that that's letting us down. It's the lack of defensive structure now that we are trying to attack more. Everybody's wrong in one shape or form, and that isn't the argument. The focus is now, will Ole lose his job like he should? Why are they keeping him at the football club? When will he go? Who do you want the replacement to be? And do you actually trust this club to genuinely move forward in the right direction after Ole? I spoke to one Man United fan today who said he doesn't want to appear on camera, but he said he was messaging me saying that he doesn't want Ole sacked, not because he likes Ole or is protecting Ole, but he thinks we're just going to move on to another disaster irrespective. So what's the point? So there's lots of views and opinions. I'm going to take your calls on it today. Make sure that like button is being smashed for us, though, right now. Yes, I'm looking at all of you that haven't done it yet. Give it a hit. Make sure you've subscribed. We do have a notification group chat as well that you can sign up to today. All the information for that is in our description below. Max here with the super chat. Remember, if you're super chatting over £5, make sure you get your guess in for our secret phrase in the golden envelope and try and win yourself a prize. But Max here says, no team has made fewer tackles in the Premier League game this season than Man United versus Liverpool 5. And I'm not surprised. You know, Man United's biggest issue is working hard. And something I've spoken about so many times on the football terrace is working hard and running. Passion, desire, determination. Man United simply don't have it at the moment. The lack of intensity in our game is a bigger problem than our triangles and patterns when we're trying to attack. And it has been for a while. That's the biggest problem that we have. Is the phrase football? No, the phrase isn't football, but good attempt there at a guess, my friend. Good attempt there at a guess. Let's do some more of your comments coming through here. Panaldo fanboys in the chat. I hear you on that. No one had a good day yesterday. Gary is chatting rubbish, as in Gary Neville. Look, Gary Neville for me, and I'll say this straight. He said everything right yesterday, barring criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It falls at his feet. It falls at Ole's feet. 110%, especially when it comes to structure and people working hard. That's the manager's job. And I saw a report on the Muppeteers talking about how even the coaching staff are at war with each other at Man United. McKenna wants to do one thing, Carrick wants to do another, Ollie picks another. I then look at the board and go, where's your due diligence? Where's your management of this club? How can you have your three main coaches that are responsible for getting the team ready to play football all at loggerheads with each other? There should be about a 90% universal matching of ideas between your coaching staff. There's always got to be a room for challenge, and there's always got to be room for new ideas. But there shouldn't be this gulf in person A versus person B versus person C is so different in how they think we should play. That is never going to be conducive with winning. It simply isn't. The press only works if the striker plays his part. Ronaldo doesn't press. He feels like that is not part of his role. And I can understand that, Cedric. The problem is when it comes to reducing this to being about Ronaldo is simply this. If you go back to Man United's opening games of the season, we were excellent against Leeds United. There's no doubt about it. We were. But then if you look at the other games that Manchester United played before Cristiano Ronaldo kicked a ball, if you go back and you look at those games as an example, and I'm just looking at them now, we were outplayed by Southampton for large parts of that game. We were defensively frail, no Ronaldo in the team. We then beat Wolves. We scraped past Wolves. Again, no Ronaldo in the team. Against Everton, we played that first half very, very well. That's the last time Ronaldo didn't start a game for us. But we still conceded goals through bad defensive structure. So for me, it isn't on Cristiano Ronaldo per se, because we've been bad in games that he didn't play in or didn't start in, as well as games where he's in the team. It's why McFred, they're not the scapegoats here. Whatever midfield partnership we play, we leak like this. It isn't about any one individual player. It's the structure of the football team. It's the structure, and even tactics. It's structure, shape. The tactic that goes wrong is the players don't know whether to press or stay compact. That's the tactical element that goes wrong there. CJ says, I can understand most United fans' frustration, but how do we know Conte won't be a Mourinho 2.0? We need a manager who's tactical and plays youth. And I think that's a great thing, CJ. A lot of people don't want Antonio Conte. So we could literally go from having a manager that half the fan base didn't want in the first place to another manager that half the fan base don't want in the first place. And if the structure's wrong and it fails, this is my biggest fear. We sack Ole and go, great, it's done. And then we jump out of the frying pan and into the fryer with another bad appointment. I don't trust who we appoint next, from either the person being right or them backing him. Why? Because this ownership have now got it wrong 4 times on the bounce. That's a big key issue as well. Z here says, Terry, it's so hurtful to see us fall so bad. We got all these quality players and we are backwards. Sad he can't make it to the Tottenham game. Sack ASAP. And you are right. I think that for me is where the embarrassment comes in this time. We have a good enough team to be competitive with everybody that we've played so far this season. We simply do. If Brentford can be competitive with Liverpool, this Man United team, that's why when it comes to, we need a world-class CDM, maybe to push us over the line to win the league, not to be competitive, because Brentford don't have a world-class CDM and they drew 3-3 with Liverpool and were competitive. It's about the structure of the team, and it always has been. The player focus for me is unfounded at this moment in time. I want to go to some of the updates from some of the journalists that have been out there. First of all, let's take a quick look at what Fabrizio Romano had to say on his YouTube channel this morning. Let's take a little look at this right now.
The quality is not at Man United level, and this is why Man United now are gonna decide what they want to do. Next hours will be key. So guys, once I will know what is going on with Man United this season, I will let you know. As I said, during the evening, immediately after the game, the position from Man United is let's see what is going to happen. We are going to need some time to decide about the situation, but they've always been with the manager in the last weeks. And this is why part of the board is still thinking to protect Ole, but of course, part of the board is also thinking about the situation. So as of now, nothing has been decided, but let's see what is going to happen in the final hours. I'm recording this video during the night, morning. This is why I was waiting to have the final updates, but as of now, nothing has been decided yet at Man United. What is clear is that Solskjaer wants to continue. What he said after the game is not like changing, okay, I'm not feeling the players with me. No, he said, I trust this project. We're going so far together, so I still want to go on with this team. I'm convinced we can do
and
it.
what's very interesting about listening to Fabrizio there is what he said. They're having this meeting this morning. Some people claim the meeting happened last night. Fabrizio saying it's happening today. The coming hours are going to be very important indeed. Man United fans want a reaction. There's no doubt about it. There's also the reports from Samuel Luckhurst today, who says that, according to him, and the report he put out, is that Antonio Conte is open to taking the Manchester United job. He's the bookies' favourites. That's what many people are putting their money on right now. But what's really interesting is what he said. He says Conte's been out of work following his departure. Get through all this nonsense. He said sources say that Conte wants reassurances from Man United over the club's direction, and that he would not entertain the prospect of having marketable players forced onto him. That's the key bit for me. Even Antonio Conte is still like, do I really want to manage Manchester United? And that goes back to a key point that I've spoken about for years on the terrace. Ole needs to go. Ole is a big problem. But there is a glaring, gargantuan, stinking elephant in the room that everybody is ignoring. Do we really think, I want to ask Man United fans this, do you really believe that the next stage after this is going to be clean? So I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that whoever we appoint next, it works. And it's like, Terry, you said that they'd get it wrong and there was no structure. I pray to God I'm wrong. They've told us there's a structure. They've told us for the last 2.5, nearly 3 years, that Ole has been helping them build something for the future. Profile of player, transfer strategies, etc. I believe half of it. I'm taking you at your word at face value. Now is when we see. And the reason I didn't want Ole sacked 6 months ago, a year ago, 18 months ago, is because I didn't believe that process was complete in terms of building a squad based on the structure they said they built, based on the culture they said they built, based on the strategy they said they built. If we sacked Ole halfway through, we were never going to understand the fruits of that labor. We were never going to see whether this is about me finding out whether the Glazers are lying to us or not, categorically. It isn't about Ole or Conte or winning trophies. It's about singling out the Glazers as liars. And everybody has misinterpreted me for years over this. Oh, you're defending Jose. Oh, you're defending Ole. No, I'm trying to prove to you all that in my belief, our owners are lying to us. So take your money out of this football club and make it crash and burn. Because if we go for Antonio Conte and rip up the blueprint that Ole's built, we are screwed forever. Forever. Because we're going to keep doing that. Every now and then you're going to win a trophy, but you're never going to get sustainable success. And I don't mean winning the Prem every year like Fergie did. I'm not asking people then go, but you're never going to get an Ole, a Fergie era again. No manager's going to stay for that long, ever. And I'm not even talking about winning every year. I'm talking about with what we spend, we should be competitive most seasons. Most seasons. It's about having a club structure that a manager fits to. You can create the Fergie era again in terms of stability. Not with one manager, with a club structure that whoever the coach is that comes in adheres to. I'm not overtly against Conte. I'm not overtly against any manager. As long as we're adhering to the Man United structure that they've said they're built under Ole. If there is no structure, then we've been lied to for 3 years. Therefore, let's not trust anything they do and let's force them to make changes at the club financially. That's my take on it. I'm going to go to your calls now, though. Lots of you waiting backstage. Francis here says, best appointment will be Zidane, renowned winner, takes no rubbish, measured and prudent with no Mourinho-like drama. No-brainer is Zidane, is what Francis has got to say there. That's my number one choice personally. When do you think Ole will get sacked? So depressed. That's from Jay Lings. I don't know. I feel like he should be sacked now. I've got a little gut feeling it could be today. But then there's been a tweet out from Man United that's like, Ole wants to do X, Y, and Z. But I don't know for me. I get a feeling that Igal could be right. He didn't maybe explain it well enough on the show yesterday, but I think we might wait until after the Chelsea and City game and wait for the international break before doing it. I get that feeling that that's what they might do. Terry, why is half your fan base still Ole in? I haven't seen anybody say Ole in. I've not seen a single person defend Ole. If you've got tweets or you've seen them do it, please send it my way so I can challenge him on it. But I haven't seen it at all. I want to go to your calls now. Before we do that, let's get this stream past 500 likes while we're live, please, ladies and gentlemen. The big news today is that Antonio Conte is open to joining Manchester United and is currently the bookies' favourite to replace Ole, who is now favourite to be the next manager to lose his job after just 1 point in 12 games, 7th in the league table, out of the title race, and staring down the barrel of maybe going out the Champions League as well. By the time he's sacked, United could be out the title race, struggling for top 4 and out of the Champions League. And with this squad and with the money that's being spent, that should not be acceptable in anybody's mind. Whether you were Ole in 3 weeks ago or Ole out since the day he was appointed, it matters not. He needs to go. The Glazers need to show us that they want to win on the football pitch, and that has to be the focus. First caller of the day I'm going to go to is Mo. We've got Igal backstage, Tarab backstage, Jamie, KJ, Ads. We're going to get you all on to have your say on the show today. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. You've shared this stream as it stands right now. Mo's with me next. Let's do this. What are you saying, Mo?
How's it going, Terry? I just want anybody, Terry. Like, let's just get rid of this manager, and then soon as he gets sacked, the better. Because if he keeps on staying on, he's gonna do a lot of damage to the football club. We're 8 points behind Chelsea. We might miss out on top 4. We could possibly go out the Champions League, and the next manager that comes in is gonna have a hell of a lot of work to do. Just get rid of him now. I listened to his yesterday. I was devastated, Terry. I had tears in my eyes. I was literally devastated. His press conference as well. I ain't got a clue what he's on about half the time. He's just lost 5-0, and he's coming up back saying, "Oh, I still believe in myself." No one believes in you, mate. You're a legend of the football club. You've done a good job stabilizing the club. Please leave. And also, Gary Neville, when we get the new manager in, Terry, and when we start doing well, and when we start winning trophies, Gary Neville better not say anything, because he has backed Ole. Yesterday, he didn't say anything against Ole. And he doesn't want Conte. He hasn't got a clue what he's on about. He's bad for his football club. As a pundit, he's bad.
Listen, I hear what you're saying with Gary. Now, do you know what's crazy about a lot of these? I'm going to mute you, mate. It's a bit of background noise. What's amazing about some of these pundits, especially the Man United ones, is they very rarely go after the Glazers, which I find astronomically poor. And that's the reason why so many of the Man United fans don't focus on the Glazers, because nobody with any real... And maybe it's because they don't want to lose access. Maybe it's because they don't want to lose connections at the club. Maybe it's because they, I see a lot of ex-pros, whether it be their YouTube channels, whether it be the media work they're doing, they have access to the club. Maybe that gets revoked if they call the owners out. I don't know. But as bad as Ole is, and I completely agree with you, the focus now has to be on who comes in next. What are the Glazers going to do? I'm already seeing fights in the fan base amongst, well, if we go for Conte, he's not right for these 5 reasons. He ain't right for those 5 reasons. The reason why we're at loggerheads with each other is because we don't trust our board to appoint the right person. If we trusted our board and we had a great structure at the club and Ole was just doing a bad job, we wouldn't care who we were linked to next, within reason. It'd be like, I prefer Zidane over Conte, but our board get most decisions right, therefore I'm going to back them. That isn't going to happen. I'm already predicting that in 18 months' time, whoever the new manager is, we're going to be having these conversations again, legit. I really think that, Mo.
Yeah, I think it's going to get bad, Terry. I think it's going to get really, really bad. I can see it getting very, very bad, Terry. If he stays, it's going to get bad. And it could be worse than Mourinho. At least with Jose and LVG, I've always said they had some style of play. There's nothing bad there, Terry. The players, everyone looks lost on that football pitch.
Excuse me. No, I hear you completely, Mo. Listen, brother, thank you for coming on and having your say today. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. David T here says, United fans, do not let panic overrule your sense of judgment. We spend time to carve out this attacking team. We can't go backwards and get a defensive one. Obviously, that's looking at the situation with Antonio Conte, David T not wanting him in relation to that. As I've said, I don't actually care who the manager is. Legit. I have my preference, but my preference, your preference, Rance's preference, KJ's preference, who else? I'm trying to think. Alfie's preference. I'm trying to think of other Man United fans. Adam McCullough's preference, the Goldbridge's preference, shouldn't matter. If there's a club plan, culture, structure, a style that we want to play, a profile of player that fits it, and the type of manager needed to lead it, there'd be no issues now. There'd be no problem. But if we go from trying to do whatever Ollie wants to a manager wanting to do completely different things, rejigging everything, we are screwed. Because you know what it means? It means a complete rebuild again. And I don't know if you've ever tried to do this before. If you keep trying to rebuild something, you know you never have it completed and you never create consistency. You know that dude that lives locally to you that's always fixing his car, but you never see it working? It's because he doesn't know how to fix it. Just keeps spending money on it, but it never runs. It's like, bruv, it's a waste of time. That's us. You know that dude always got a car he's working on. 10 years. This old good dude in my house is fixing this car. Never seen it work. That's the Glazers. Next on the show, I'm going to go to, lots of good people to pick from. Jamie's here with me. What are you saying, Jamie?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak about the game yesterday. I just thought that the style from Manchester United was just unbelievable, really. Basically, it was a little bit weird how they started off. I think Liverpool were on the front foot, and when they were attacking them, United just didn't know, basically what to do. Salah was basically just on fire. And as for Manchester United, obviously getting another manager, Terry, like you said, there's not really a great deal of choice out there, really, is there?
I mean, yeah, I think there is and there isn't. I look at it like, I think Luis Enrique isn't going to happen because he's got the World Cup in 13 months. He isn't going to leave, in my opinion. There's literally Zidane and Conte. When I look at the kind of squad we've got, I think we need a manager. Like, I look at Graham Potter as an example. I think he'd make us play better football. Do I think he's ready to take the pressure of Man United and to look after a squad with the talent that we have in it? I don't think he's ready. So it has to. I look at Conte and Zidane are literally the only two that are out there. Ten Hag is probably a third option that we might be able to go and get right now. They're the only three that I look at as realistic. Which of those three that seem realistic would you personally prefer?
If it was, well, I mean, obviously, if I was a Manchester United fan, which I'm not, obviously, but I mean, if I was, then I'd more likely go for someone like Conte, because the reason being is he's already been in the Premier League, before with Chelsea. He's won, obviously, the Premier League in the first season with them. And someone like Zidane, don't get me wrong, he's good. Like, he's got a good managerial, track record with other clubs like Madrid and that. But coming into the Premier League's a different ball game, So if it was me personally, I'd more likely go with Conte, really.
I hear you on that. A lot of people saying that. Jamie, top man for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate the support, mate.
Cheers, man.
Top man, thank you. Like buttons be smashed. You know what I would say about Antonio Conte? I saw some Chelsea fans say, I think it was Slens actually on Twitter. I try not to steal people's thought processes and always give them credit for it. I think he said something like, I don't think Conte walks into Man United and wins the title, as we've seen elsewhere, like him do at Chelsea as an example. And they're right. Because of the power of City, Chelsea, and Liverpool, there's no foregone conclusion. But that isn't my concern. I don't expect Man United to win every year when you've got three other teams that are amazing. I just expect us to be competitive, and we're not that. I expect us to play better than everybody else outside that top four 90% of the time. And we're not doing that. Carl here says Poch would be a good choice. Again, Poch is just so unrealistic. It isn't going to happen, but I do hear you. Next on the show, I'm going to get KJ Nagao and a few others on together as a bit of a panel a bit later. Next on the show, I'm going to get Ads. Ads is a Liverpool fan. What are you saying, mate? You're on mute, brother.
I'm on mute. There we go, man. Thanks for having me back on, my guy, man. Listen, I'm not going to gloat too much, man, but the result yesterday, man, I was living in dreamland. I could not believe it, my friend. The fact that we actually went to Old Trafford and done that. We have been waiting for that result for years. There's been times where our team has been better than you guys, and we've come to Old Trafford, and there's always something in our head where we just can't get the job done. But to go there and do it in this fashion, unbelievable, unreal, man. But like I said, I'm not going to gloat too much. I did that yesterday. I missed out on the reaction, but
mate, listen, bro, I hear you. Do you know what I would say is this? Do you know I watched the game back last night? This morning, and the majority of it. It reminded me. Are you a boxing fan?
Yeah, massive boxing fan.
Do you remember the fight between Manny Pacquiao and Ricky Hatton?
Yep.
That fight was like Manny Pacquiao had this game plan where it's almost like they were the first fighter to really find Hatton's chink in his armor, going, he does X, Y, Z, and this punch is always open. And he sparked him. He caught him with the same punch like 3 times in the opening rounds and knocked him out. That's what you guys did. You knew, you'd watched us in the last 5, 6, 7 games. You saw the weaknesses and you just did it. And you did it perfect. It was honestly, it was like watching a cat toy with a mouse. It was embarrassing.
No,
absolutely embarrassing.
Absolutely. I think for us as well, a lot of Liverpool fans might have said they were expecting the result. They're probably lying. Listen, it was a shock for us. We were expecting a tough game. The Rashford thing was on our mind. We lost Fabrizio last minute. So we actually went into that game knowing we will be able to beat you guys, but it could be a tough game. And when that chance found Bruno early in the game, we're thinking, oh, we could be in for one here today. But for the way you lot collapsed in the game and we just went on and kept on dominating, it was an unbelievable performance. And I know all eyes are on Ole and Manchester United now. I get it, but I do want to praise Liverpool in terms of the players there, the individuals, the Naby Keita, brilliant yesterday. Henderson playing that DM position, which we always question if he could do it to the level of Fabinho. He was excellent in that position yesterday. Obviously, Mo Salah, we know what he does. And even the young kid, Conte, his second game for Liverpool, to come in. And, he was a bit nervous in the beginning, you could see. And I know Ronaldo, you can only keep the GOAT quiet once in a while. I know Ronaldo got the goal, but he had a fantastic game, Conte. Mate, over the moon with the result. I do want to touch on something with the pundits. I want people to understand when it comes to the likes of Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, even Jamie Carragher, they all have personal interests in parties. Gary Neville would never come out and say he wants Ole out, and I don't expect him to do that because that's his guy. The same thing as Jamie was putting pressure on him. If Steven Gerrard was in a job at Liverpool and results were going this way, Jamie would not come out and do the same thing. So people need to understand these guys have invested interests in each other. They're not going to come out and slag their guy. The only time we saw Gary Neville talk up, which was the Super League where he pulled out on the Glazers, was because he had his own investment, which was his own football club, because it was going to affect his business. So
yeah, and potentially Sky Sports, who he's paid millions of pounds a year by, they may not want. And you are right. And look, I think I am annoyed with Gary Neville and Rio, but I understand it, and that's why. And by the way, Sky Sports are now doing fan cams. The likes of Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand have basically started fan channels, and that's because fan channels rule the roost on this. Like for years, I watch fan channels for reactions. I now do most of the reactions myself, but like I watch them because you hear that realness in terms of the breakdown. You're never going to get the complete truth from the vast majority of these pundits, especially the age bracket of the Nevilles and the Rios and everybody else, because their friends are in charge. The likes of Souness, it's easy. Souness doesn't have any friends of his now that are managing football clubs, that are doing things. I remember Souness. Souness was never scathing about Kenny Dalglish when he returned as the manager of Liverpool and was doing a bad job, because him and Kenny are good friends. He was never going to do it. And you're right. If Gerrard takes over Liverpool and is doing a bad job, Carragher is not going to slam him. And what you'll see from Liverpool fans towards Carragher is what you're seeing right now from Man United fans towards Neville. You're bang on, mate. Absolutely spot on. Ads, top man for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Terry Shiny Forehead says, honestly, Terry, you're clutching at straws. I feel bad for you. There's no sign that Ollie is going anywhere. He's a yes man and your owners love him. Well, I'm not clutching at straws. I mean, you've had people, genuine, bona fide, verified publications say that there's a big shadow of Conte hanging over him. You've got a meeting that's going on today, so the coming hours are going to be decisive, and they may decide to keep him. But it's not me clutching at straws. I'm reporting what's being said. I hope he goes, but trust me, I don't trust my owners to get rid of him, because I've always held the owners are the biggest problem at this club above anybody else. Remember, when you're putting your super chats in, have a guess at the secret phrase that's in my lovely golden envelope here and win yourself a football shirt of your choice. Next on the show, I'm going to chat to young Tommy's going to come on and have his say. Now, young Tom's here. What are you saying, mate? You're on mute, bro.
Hey, Terry, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. What's on your
mind?
mind?
My birthday yesterday, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday, young man. Happy birthday, bro. Big up yourself.
Sorry about I was going up the stairs. Like, my mum was talking to me, so I couldn't really hear. Sorry about that.
That's not yet. You don't have to apologize. What
so,
Well,
I didn't watch the game yet, but obviously my dad, I was watching half of it, but I had to leave because I went out to Patchak Westfield to go out with my friends in it for my birthday. So I feel for you guys. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer he's a dead man walking. I think he should be. If he's still there when you play Tottenham away this week, if he's still if Tottenham do beat, because I think Tottenham will beat you. If he's still there, then there's something wrong with the Glazers. If he's still at the job, because he needs to be sacked. He's a dead man walking. He should be gone. I feel for you. I was watching Don Robbie's channel. I feel for Aaron, Neeks. I feel for a lot of them when they were doing it in Box Park with me. I feel for you, look. I feel for you because you want him gone. I feel so sorry for you. I feel so sorry for you that this manager is out of his depth and he's clueless.
Mate, I hear you on that, and I think a lot of people feel the way you're talking and understand it as well, mate. Tommy, who do you think Man United should bring in to replace him?
All right, I get that some fans don't want Conte because of his football's like Mourinho's, but Conte hates Mourinho. He calls him a little man. He hates Mourinho. His football's not bad. His football was good at Chelsea, Inter Milan, Juventus. His football's not bad. I would love him at Arsenal. I don't care about his football. I just want us to get back to where we want to be in the next 5-6 years. But I understand that obviously Conte is not your first choice. Zidane will be good for you. Conte, Luis Enrique. I don't think Luis Enrique will be happening because of the World Cup with Spain. But I reckon Conte. I think Conte is your next manager.
He very well could be. Tommy, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much indeed. There is some breaking news that I'm going to go to in just a moment that I want to bring to you all. Now, this is very, very interesting indeed. I have just tweeted it out whilst I was listening to young Tommy talk. I'm going to put it up on the screen as well. Just bear with me a second so I can put this up and share it, because this is interesting. This is coming from one of the most credible sources when it comes to information out there in relation to Ole's job and Manchester United's new manager. So according to The Guardian, it says here in the first tweet you can see underneath here on my screen just here, it says that Antonio Conte would be open to discussing taking over at Man United if Ole was sacked, as it emerged on Monday that several players are questioning whether Ole can take the team forward. The report also goes on to say that Conte has not received any formal contract, but he won't until he agrees to join. Although he's reluctant to take up a position during a season, he would make an exception for Man United because he considers the club a special opportunity. He would want to understand United's vision before committing. Again, whether you want Conte or not, that's another question. What stands out about this report to me is it's the third publication. You could argue that The Guardian and Fabrizio are connected because they work together. Today has mentioned him. Remember, Andreas last week came on and said United had already started talks with Antonio Conte. He's not every Man United fan's choice. Like I've said, I'm not going to actually get in my knickers in a twist over whatever manager we appoint, because I believe until I know there's a real structure at this club, I don't care who we appoint. In fact, kind of plays into my thought process. But Antonio Conte is a winner. Antonio Conte is a man who wins trophies everywhere that he goes. He is a man who would demand massive things out of the Glazers, and he could also actually be the guy that exposes them to the world. He could sign for us this month and leave in December in anger if they didn't follow through with promises. But that is another report on Antonio Conte becoming the Man United manager. Maybe, just maybe, they're waiting to get him to confirm that he wants to join before sacking Ole. I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. As we've just said, breaking news from The Guardian that we posted out. Go follow my Twitter account, by the way, at Terry Flewers. Go and get that done now. Smash that like and share button on this stream this morning. You can phone in to have your say as well. The only fan channel that lets you phone in and have your say every day. The link is in the live comment section. But Antonio Conte would accept an offer at Manchester United as long as he understands United vision before committing to the club. But with this squad, the vision's got to be to try and win, surely. Going to bring a little panel on very, very soon to have their say. I want to know what you're thinking and what you're feeling as well. Let's get this stream past. What are we on now, likewise? Let's get this past 1,000 likes, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that done right now. A lot of people shouting Ten Hag. We need Conte in, is what Michael says here. Please don't sack him, is what Chris says. But that's the interesting thing. Man like the devil's advocate says, if this board understood football, they would see Conte doesn't suit the squad we've built under Ole. It's another 3 years to overhaul the squad and suit Conte. Be smart, interim until the end of the season, and get Ten Hag. Roy Keane is needed, is what I saw there. Call the pilot his private jet. I don't get it. Call the pilot for his private jet. Oh, you mean for Conte? All right, I get it now. I get what you're saying. Where's KJ? Let's see Liverpool put 5. But you guys are all calling KJ out for saying, let's see you put 5 past us. He didn't say it like you guys couldn't. He said, do it because it will get me what I want and get my manager sacked. He literally was like, some people have like really taken that comment out of context when it comes to KJ. KJ will be joining me with the panel really, really soon. Next on the show, another Liverpool fan, Louis, is going to be on with us now to have his say. Let's do it. How you doing, Luke?
I had to wear the kit. I'm all right. I'm happy yesterday. I mean, it's one of those things as a Liverpool fan, regardless of how well Liverpool have been and how bad Man United have been, you just don't think that you're going to put 5 past United at their place. I do want to, obviously, Ole fought for the majority. I think you can't look past that. But I actually think the players are getting away with it a little bit in terms of the how they're being judged in the media and on shows like this. So the second goal, for example, where Shaw and Maguire, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how that's a defensive coaching problem. I don't understand how that's a problem on the manager. Where for the third goal, where Salah takes a shot and it's well blocked by Maguire, and then Shaw and Maguire just stand still. Salah's quick to react. I don't understand how no coach in there would say, don't react, be slow. That surely has to be something on the players. I think the players are, whether it's a problem because of the manager and they're dejected and they're just disappointed and lacking confidence, and that's making them make decisions because of the manager and the way they're playing, sure, I can accept that. But I think some of the blame for yesterday does have to come on the players. And I think because of the ongoing situation with Ole and the feelings you guys have for the Glazers and for Ole, the players are somewhat getting away with the performances yesterday.
I think it's a fair point. The only thing I would say is this, that when it comes to how well you play as a football club, Liverpool fans put so much stock in Klopp being the driving force behind it. So, if Klopp is, how you guys felt about Jordan Henderson before Klopp came in has changed because that manager has put him into a role and into a position and coached and drilled a team to make it work. In fact, if you look at the first 2 years under Klopp, you weren't as well drilled as you are now. The press wasn't as good. Your defensive structure wasn't as good. Bringing in Van Dijk helped because you brought in a top class player. But at the same time, there is a structure to it. Last year, when you were playing the high line and you got the personnel wrong and things like that, you guys were leaking goals. You then changed it up and got the formation right, and suddenly you improved. The manager plays such a big part in that. Last year, you had top-class players in your team looking average because there was something wrong with how you were playing as a team, and it had to be rectified. Of course, we can look at individual players. The problem I have with focusing on players in this instance is whoever we pick and play, the same problems persist. So
I do agree.
Everyone argues, McFred are the reason. You put in Matic and Pogba, same shit happens. We're actually not pressing well now just because Ronaldo's not in the team. What about the 4 or 5 games this season when Ronaldo didn't start and the same goals were conceded? So that's why I get your point. But for me, putting a world-class manager that puts in a structure for us, and an example I would give you is this. Would you sign any of Brentford's players to get in your starting lineup at Liverpool?
No, I heard you make this point earlier, and it's
cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
well drilled. My point was, it wasn't so much saying, all right, Ronaldo doesn't press. That like he's the issue. That's a different point. That's a different personnel point from what I'm making. There's a difference between saying, right, Fred and McTominay, they're not the right defensive midfield partnership. I think they were the right defensive midfield partnership for yesterday. I think you needed, in some capacity, some defensive solidity, and they offer the best of that you're going to get. They're still way off it. But what I meant by, in terms of personnel getting away with it, is like individual errors, not like Maguire and Shaw running into each other for that second goal. I don't understand what does Ole?
Yeah, no, I get that. I just think that's all. it's the confusion of what to do and where to be because of the structure. And then by the time we were 2 or 3 goals down, heads were gone, if that made sense. Like some of the chances we created after we were 1, 2, 3-0 down, I believe if the game was closer in terms of scoreline, we might have scored them. We got to a point where we started snatching at things. Then you saw a lack of energy and effort. It's been the whole way. And look, it's just some of these players will be found out as not being good enough. But you know what? What this squad needs is a world-class manager to like out that, because if you get someone that's come in before, you know, you get a Conte who turned Vicky Moses into one of the best fullbacks for 18 months in the league, who went and signed a past it Ashley Young and instilled him into a team that wins Serie A. If he can do that. So for me, it's like if he sets his structure up and you've still got Fred dropping disaster classes, then okay, we'll talk about Fred. But I actually believe you'll see an improvement in some of our what people look at as our average players with a world-class manager. Lou, great. It'll be
the same with Tuchel. Like Jorginho before, people saying, can he do it? Tuchel comes in and people are saying he's one of the best midfielders in the world.
Look at Rudiger. Look at Rudiger. Look at the defenders. Look at the way certain Chelsea fans are now like, oh my God, we've got all these great players. You were all happy to sell them before Tuchel came in. Brilliant manager turns up and it changes it. I think Tuchel's a prime example there. Listen, Louis, great call, mate, as ever. Top man. I'll see you soon. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much. Top man. I'm going to bring a bit of a panel on now. I'm going to get Igao on. I'm going to get Tarap on. I'm going to get KJ on with me. A few people asking where Midnight Vibes was. I cancelled Midnight Vibes, not because of any other reason than I was driving back from London. I got caught on the M25 and I couldn't get the show set up. So that's all it was down to yesterday. Make sure like buttons have been smashed. Panel coming on now to have their say. Let's do this.
What's going on?
How you doing, gents?
Yo,
good.
I need to do something. So it says here, Man United thought seriously considering Solskjaer's future. You know that. Joel Glazer resides in Florida, 5 hours behind the UK, so any decision may be taken later on Monday. Listen, yo, fam, wake up! Flipping wake up, bro. I don't care if it's in a flipping morning time. Do your flipping job. It's time to be an owner of a football club now. Wake the hell up. I don't care if you're flipping sleeping with your missus and your kids are there sleeping. Or if I wake them up too. Because it's go time. It's flipping time to sack this man.
I hear you on that. To wrap, just quickly, you've got something making noise in your room. I don't know if it's a fan or an air conditioning machine or something. Is that what it was?
It's the hoodie, my bad.
There we go. Yeah, whatever that was, that's cool. That's better now. It was making a bit of a whining noise. I hear you. I mean, these are the things about the Glazers that do my head in. Like, if I'm living in America, but I run a business in the UK, you get up at UK time. You don't get up American time to handle this stuff. To wrap, I'd love to get your view quickly. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan with this situation with Man United and Ole, do you believe these reports that they're looking at sacking him, looking at Antonio Conte's, or do you think that Ole's still going to be here for the foreseeable?
I think he's going to be here for a while. I think if it wasn't Conte in charge, if it was someone more flamboyant or someone up and coming like a Nagelsmann, then maybe. But Conte, just for me, there's just something about it that doesn't work. Not to say it's because of the negative style of football. It's just there's a what's that channel? Retro, Sky Sports Retro. They tweeted something about if a player doesn't work for me, I just want to kill him. I don't know which player he was talking about, and I have a feeling he'll just fall out with a lot of players straight away. The likes of Pogba, the likes of just whoever it is. I know you just started on that, but
you do know Conte worked Pogba, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying the type of personality that Conte is. I'm just saying if players don't pull their weight, he might just come to a situation where he says he wants to sell XYZ and the board say no, just like what happened to Mourinho, and then it just causes unrest, and then you're back to the same position. That's what I mean by that. I'm not picking on Pogba specifically, but I'm just saying.
I hear you. Do you know what I would say about that though? That's only the case if the club again is run badly.
Which it is.
Which is a case of this. If you're going to give managers, like for me, a manager should be able to say, this player works, this player doesn't. And that manager should be operating based on the club's profile. But if there's an attitude issue, so let's just say, for instance, he comes in and Pogba won't do the running that Antonio Conte needs. This is where this is where I look at fanboys and I want them gone out my club, because it's like, I don't care. If Conte comes in, Zidane comes in, Ten Hag comes in and says, look, Bruno can't play in this team because he doesn't do these 3 things that I need, then he doesn't come in this team. it shouldn't be if the players will then start to kick up a fuss. You sell it. You sell the players. You let the as long as the manager is adhering to what the club structure is. You back him in doing it. We have caused problems at Man United, and where the biggest problems at this club started were during the Jose era when he wanted Martial and Pogba gone, and all hell broke loose. And then the board said, "No, we're going to keep them. You're out of here." And then he lost all control of that dressing room. And I agree with you. That would be my fear with Antonio Conte. Not that what he's doing is wrong. But the Glazers would side with the superstar player, and then you create this power vacuum in the dressing room where imagine Antonio Conte's like, I want to sell Bruno, he's not good enough. And the Glazers say, no, you're not. Bruno then sits there like, well, you've got to play me now. And the irony in it is that's what The Guardian and Luckhurst and I think Fabrizio have all reported this morning, that the reason Antonio Conte is saying, I don't know whether I want to join
the structure
is because he doesn't know whether they're going to force him to play players that he doesn't want to play. And if and this is what I talk about internal due diligence. This is why the Glazers are a bigger problem than any manager. Imagine forcing a manager to play players they don't want to play or buy players they don't want. That's why Man United are where we are, above and beyond any manager or any individual player. It's the way this club is run. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. There's no way Liverpool would make Jurgen Klopp play a player. There's no way City, the owners, would say, listen, Pep, I know you don't want Danny Ings, but we're going to sign him and you're going to play him. It would never happen. I don't know why I'm using Danny Ings as an example. He's not a superstar, but there's no way they would do it. This club is an absolute disgrace. Gal, I love your thoughts this morning on this Conte news.
I don't think it's going to happen because one, this is the ball is rolling. All this is don't forget, they view Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as an interim manager until the next manager. Even though he's currently in the job as the main manager, he first came in as an intern. And they're going to see him as an intern until they get the next manager. They're going to keep him until they get the next manager. They're not going to sack him and cut him off and just bring somebody in to wait until you get another manager. They're not going to bring in another interim, in my opinion. I feel like Ole is going to stay for the next game.
Oh, I mean, but how long? That doesn't make sense.
What I'm saying is Ole's not going to get sacked until they officially have the next manager in line to replace
Oh,
him.
no, I get so, but no, my point is, so that makes sense. So do you think Antonio Conte could be the next manager?
No, because I think Antonio Conte will reject Manchester United based on what you guys have already mentioned. Plus, he's had issues with not having control and having arguments with the backroom staff and everything else. I don't think he wants to go into another job where he's going to have similar issues. If he's going to come into the job, he's going to want full anonymity and full control over as much as he can get. And I don't think in today's football, a lot of managers are going to be given that opportunity at a club like Manchester United.
I mean, KJ, do you think, whether you want Conte or not, do you think Conte will reject Man United, as the gal has just suggested?
Hell yes, brother. What is this? This football club's a flipping joke. Why would he want to come into this? There's no point of him coming because he probably knows I'll probably leave anyway. Like, he sees what's going on. He sees the foolishness. They hear, managers hear everything that's happening at different clubs. How does it go? And they talk to each other. It's a flipping joke. We are a joke right now, and we have been for a very long time because these bricks that we call our owners are the reason why we are the way that we are. The reason why managers keep failing, players keep failing, is because these guys don't care. They don't want to instill a structure. They don't want to instill a way of winning, a mentality into the football club. Why is one of our owners in Florida chilling when your football club is in turmoil? Why? There's like three of you. One of you be there. Where is Woodward? I know man's leaving, but where is he in his final days? Why don't see him at the stadium no more? He was there for Ronaldo.
You're seeing Ferguson more than the owners now.
I mean, Fergie out there freezing his balls off in depression, bruv. You don't deserve this, man. Uncle, you're free my granddad, fam. Granddad Fergie, let him see peace, man. Listen, what's happening right now is just more Glazer puppetry, Glazer misdirection. We're talking to Conte, thinking about sacking Ole. We all damn well know he ain't going nowhere. We all know that Conte ain't coming. Even if we offered him a job or not, he ain't coming. Zidane, maybe. But again, are they smart enough to even go for Zidane? I'm telling you now, if they sack Ole, like next week or the week after the international break, Steve Bruce is the man they'll go for.
Michael Carrick. He's got experience. They'll probably get Michael Carrick, man.
Let Carrick have it to end the season, bruv.
KJ, let me just say my point again, because I'm not going to go on that point. I'm going to go back to what I said on Friday, Terry, on the show. I genuinely feel like they're going to give Ole the next couple games. I genuinely feel like they're going to give Ole the next couple games, not only until the international break to then get themselves sorted out, but they're going to let him go through this tough fixture list, like until
to make it easier for the next manager.
That's when
they've done that. They've done it before. They did it with Jose, and they'll probably do it again.
KJ, just quick question. KJ, question. You're using something new. Your mic or whatever is really glitchy. I don't know what it is. It's like a bit weird. Yeah, your mic is in your camera. You're just kind of like glitchy, like a robot. I'm just giving you that.
Oh, that's because my Wi-Fi is playing up right now.
There we go. That's what it is then. Cool. Like, this is what's mad about people on social. I've got someone that's just like quote tweeted me from an old tweet from mine from October the 18th, 2020, where I tweeted no system, no style, no patterns, no play. And it was like of our great counter-attack goal against Newcastle. And people are like, now you're doing Ole out. It's like, that was about people saying we don't have any style of play in our attack, which I've still to this day deny. We do. It's just not people that like it. But what's that got to do with me wanting the manager sacked now after huge regression? You know, some people are weird. Like, some people are legit. This is the problem with half of social media. It's like you can never change your mind about things. But equally, at the same time, I've always said from day one, I don't think it's good enough to win us the major trophies. My want to keep him in place was to do exactly what everyone's speaking about now. Will we replace him with the right manager? Is there a structure at the football club? Are things in a good position? I wanted them to get to a point where the club were telling us, we're there, we've fixed it, we're ready to go, we've got this squad that can compete. And that was a general consensus from the club, media and fans at the beginning of the season. Now it's like, right, now I'm happy for him to go. Otherwise, we would have just got 18 months of, but Ole didn't get the chance to complete his project. He didn't get the chance to complete his squad. A manager's come in now and he's got half of this squad and a bit of this squad. If we'd have sacked Ole 18 months ago, it would have still have been, but now Conte's got a manager squad that's half of Ole's, half of Jose's. It's going to take another 18 months to get him out. It would have just been the same mess as before. People have got to start listening to what's being said as opposed to boiling it down to, you're protecting the manager. No, I'm protecting my damn football club.
They read the headline. The problem is, sorry, mate. They read the headline, but they don't read the article. That's what it is.
So Liverpool, what's Terry deflecting from? I just want to see what you're saying that we're deflecting from, because we said Ole's not good enough. We said some of the players aren't playing well, and the Glazers are not doing what. So what are we deflecting from Manchester? Let me know, Liverpool, so I can understand. I'm sorry, my bro.
I also, Terry, I would want. I think Ole needs to go, but I just don't think he's gonna go. That's what I was trying to get my point across earlier. I wasn't. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, he's taking the piss." No, I genuinely do feel like you guys need to get rid of him. I just don't think you're gonna do it.
Yeah, listen, I totally understand. And the irony in it is this: if we keep him, then everything I've said about not focusing on the manager and focusing on the Glazers is true, because they're keeping him in power. Winnerpool here says, Terry, KJ, stop crying about the Glazers. They gave you the best players. You backed Ole for years. Why are you crying now? Show some respect to the viewers. What are you saying? Well, look, my friend. Look, I'll say this now. You're again taking what we said out of complete and out of context. There's, as a lot of people said, and Neek was in the same space and others. Ole in or Ole out, Ole right now was the kind of general consensus. I wanted to see a manager complete the building of his squad before I wanted him to go. But why? Because we'd never done that before. And I'm still fearful that we're going to break up everything that we've built under him. It's not about deflecting. It's about the long-term future of our club. As I've said, none of the top clubs currently in England have bad club structures. And until we have a good club structure, we ain't competing with those clubs on a regular basis, my friend. No deflection, just pure, utter facts. Tarap, you were going to say something, mate. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was saying the problem with social media nowadays is where they just pickpocket little sentences. They read the headline, but they don't read the article. Like when you go on Sky Sports, you see a headline without reading the context of what was being said. And it's a problem with social media nowadays. And it's just young teenagers that, their fingertips, and just read stuff and not really understand the meaning behind it of what is being said. That's just all I meant, really.
Because people like headlines. People just look at the headlines. They don't actually look at the actual granular documents and what it actually says.
Yeah. And everyone, all these media companies know that, so they'll pick out the juiciest headline and get the clicks. And it's just a madness, man. But yeah.
Yeah, everyone in the comments asked about midnight vibes. Terry explained it earlier. I didn't cancel it. Terry was just on his way back from the studio, didn't get back in time, couldn't set up the stream, and therefore no midnight vibes. And that's something I wasn't ducking because Terry can show you the messages. I was ready to go. Like I was ready to go do it. You can ask the guys from Midnight Vibes. I was ready to go live. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do it. We'll do it midweek though. Midnight Vibes will be back midweek with the midweek show. It was all fine.
And on everything about Ollie, like, I'll stand here and say it. There are times. I mean, I remember putting out a tweet just during the lockdown period where I was like, do you know what? I think calling for Ollie to be sacked, I was like, I'm a bit premature. Let's see what he can do. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed by that. Like, there are some Ollie outers that are like, I've been Ollie out since day one. That's not actually true. If you look at what they were saying in the first 3 to 4 months of his appointment, they were some of his biggest supporters. So everybody's converted at some point. And whether you converted early or you're a later converter, it doesn't really matter. That's not what this is about. In the here and now, sometimes you see things. I've been just reading Danny's tweets, and Danny's sort of like, I was just willing to give the manager a go with his squad and to see what could happen. I think where a lot of the panicky stuff comes down to is that, Terry, you said there was a style of play. Well, I stand by that. Like, some of the things I've defended Ollie on, I will always stand by, just because he's felt like not everything he's done is bad. And I think that's what some people sometimes really kind of get confused about, I think, in these situations. But as far as I'm concerned right now, he's taken us as far as he can. The regression is there. We have a super chat that says, you always say to boycott the Glazers, Terry. Now think realistically for a bit here. No matter how big your platform is it even possible to make a dent in the Glazers' profits? Yes, it is. Not my platform. My platform can't do it. If every single Man United fan stopped buying merchandise, boycotted the sponsors, and stopped going to games, you would quite literally bankrupt the club. Literally, you'd bankrupt it. If you stop going to games, the TV companies would be straight onto Man United. Oh, hang on a minute. You've got no crowd. There's no atmosphere. It's damaging the TV viewing. The sponsors would be like, well, the games are crap. Less people are watching. We sponsor you because Man United get the most amount of views per game ever. Like, a Man United versus Burnley will get more views on TV than the North London derby. Like, globally, I'm talking here because of the fan base. The sponsors pay for that. You can damage these people. However, the fans are not willing to do that. And because the fans are not willing to do it, it won't make an impact. But if every Man United fan did what I do, but I don't preach about it in the sense of trying to start a movement, because I leave everybody up to themselves. But if you buy a season ticket or buy a Man United shirt, you are the Glazers. You are feeding the Glazers. You are one of them if you are feeding the bad habits. And they might spend money on players. That's only part of the job. Backing a manager isn't just spending money. It's how you run a football club.
I got a prediction. And I want to know what do you guys think about this? If you guys can't find the actual right man right now, you're not going to wait until summer. What you do is you bring in an interim to seize out the rest of the season. Like a manager who's not at the top, but like mid-level manager who's done it already in Europe, who's not with the biggest name. You bring that person in to see out until the end of the season, and then you poach a top manager like a Ten Hag, like somebody else in the summer. What do you think about that? Because at this point, it's tough. It's tough to get a manager mid-season.
Igal, tell me who wants to be interim for Manchester United right now.
Listen, it's a big honor. You're still a big club, and if it's somebody who has the ego that they think they could turn it into their full-time job.
Yeah.
Obviously,
that's what I'm asking. What managers are available right now that will be interim?
Okay, let me give you. This is
Gary
obviously you're asking me to just make a name out of nowhere, but I'm saying based on the people who are available, I'm looking at the top managers, and I don't like the Valverdes and all these other guys that I'm hearing. So why don't you get a mid-level manager who's already done it at these clubs?
Yeah, but again, who? Because I'm not saying your suggestion is a rubbish suggestion or it's crazy or nothing like that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it's very hard to get an interim manager to come in who's going to be managing Manchester United, knowing that they're not going to have their job. You know what I mean? Like, not many managers of a mid-level ability are going to take that. Going to say, give me the chance, or I'm not going to do it.
And the thing is, if you mind, the owners will get carried away thinking he's done an amazing job. Let's just give him another 2-year contract. That's what happened last time with Ollie. He was meant to be here for a bit and then do a job, leave appropriately, and maybe get Poch or whoever it was at the time. So.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with your point, but the issue with an interim for the rest of the season is who is that interim going to be? The only time it makes sense is if, again, is if there was a proper club, and this is why people go, "You blaming the Glazers." If there was a proper structure at the club, and that manager who we have on our mind next was always going to be next. So say like the club has always said Ten Hag is going to be the guy, but we can't get him until the end of the season, then what you're saying makes sense. But what you need to do, I don't know who the interim is, you need to find somebody who can continue the style of football. So again, people, I've had a response from the person that's trolling me who says, we haven't regressed. He's never been good enough. And we don't replicate that often in terms of our style. So there is no style. I just disagree, and I'm not really willing to get into the arguments about it. The point is you need someone that's going to be not just an interim manager, but also play the same style of football that the club has been trying to achieve under Ole, and that Ten Hag is going to take to that next level. That's what's really hard about it. The problem is for Ole, if we were just struggling but winning still, you could keep him. He has to go because it's going to get really, really bad because players are losing faith. So your point is right. Let's get in the right interim. However, with the power of Man United and the pool, all three of the top three contenders, in my opinion, are achievable. In fact, when I look right now, and we're doing the show tonight, remember 6 o'clock, the Bet Victor show is going to be on. So we're going to delve into it more detail tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're all there. So I want to look here currently at the manager specials for a second, in terms of Man United's next manager, and look at the favourites there with Bet Victor. Zidane, Conte, Rodgers, Ten Hag's there, Poch is in there. Zidane and Conte and Ten Hag are all, for me, gettable now. I think because of our relationship with Van der Sar, Ten Hag could be got now, in my opinion. I think Conte and Zidane don't have jobs, so they're very gettable. I even think Brendan Rodgers, if Man United really wanted him, they could get him. If Man United went there with the compensation, all they've got to do is pay the compensation. If Brendan Rodgers wants to leave, the compensation could be paid and buy him out of his contract. Brendan Rodgers would leave Leicester for Man United if he was happy with what they're looking to try and do. A club our size, with our power, with our pull, can still do it. Now, I get KJ's point. Why would anybody want to join? Do you know what you sometimes get? Managers are arrogant. Do you know what you sometimes get with managers? It's this belief of, you get some people that get into relationships and they're like, I'm going to be the person that changes that other individual. There are a lot of these guys will think, I can be the guy that goes in there and gains this success. Plus, they're all going to get paid a lot of money. So, and being a manager is one of the best jobs in the world, right? Let's just say Conte signs, or say Brendan Rodgers signs on $5 million a year on a 5-year deal, and then loses his job in 2 years. Man's walking away with 20 bags, bruv. Like 20 bars. He's loving it. He literally is going to be loving it in relation to that. But yeah, they're the favourites. When I look at the top 5 favourites, you've got Ten Hag, Poch, Rodgers, Conte, Zidane. You start going beyond that, and Bielsa's in there at 30. Don't give us Bielsa. He's fucking shite. No, he's not shite, but he's so overrated.
At the top level, do you think teams like Ajax and would let their manager leave mid-season?
Yes, for the right mind, I would look at it this way: Ten Hag's relationship with Ajax is brilliant. Man United's relationship with Edwin van der Sar is great. If they paid the right compensation, trust me, because you know what Ajax have is a structure. So they already know who they want to be their next manager. As long as they could get in one of their targets who would continue their process as a football club, it's not a problem for them. When you have a great club structure, replacing managers is relatively easy because you know as long as that manager fits the profile of coaching you need and has the right mentality, it's a club process they're taking forward. You shouldn't need a manager to rebuild your structure every time they sign. So it almost becomes like a white labeled solution, a plug and play solution. And that's what Man United don't have, or I don't believe we have, because I don't trust that we have a structure. That's why it's hard for us to appoint. But we could get any one of those managers now if we wanted. All we have to do is pay the money and give them what they want, as in freedom. The likes of Zidane and Conte will not be bullied into playing players they don't want. So if Antonio Conte wants a CDM because he's like, listen, this squad's great, but we need it, and they went and signed him a Cristiano Ronaldo, he's the kind of manager that would walk over that. But I also think there's a part of me that wants that. There's a part of me that wants to see a manager during his time at the club, not after he leaves, out these Glazers. Because until Man United fans realise that they are the biggest problem at this club, nothing's going to change. Man like Neeks here.
Jose did that.
No, he didn't do it. He didn't do it till after. They are the loudest Ole Gunnars They were the loudest Ole inners because they were the loudest Jose outers. Some people are always trying to prove a point. And that's also true. That's also very, very true as well when it comes to these arguments. You know, again, the people that backed Ole the most at the beginning of his tenure were the biggest, as you say, were the biggest outers. And you'll find the biggest Jose Ole outers will be the biggest supporters of the new manager that comes in. Barring people that were massively against Jose, they're in a conundrum now. It's like, if we go for a Conte that's perceived negative football, where do I sit? Because their whole social media profile was built up on we should be playing attacking football. How are they then going to react to an Antonio Conte? I mean, honestly, from a fan point of view, I'm intrigued to see the reaction that people have to an Antonio Conte. What you'll probably see if Antonio Conte comes in and does well, and a handful of players like McTominay and Bruno do brilliantly in his system, that will just be accused of being a system team with no flair or freedom. Watch it happen. It'd be amazing. Honestly, there'll be a complete switch around. I've got some super chats here I want to do. Ole in is what Gary Neville says. I wish that was. Imagine that was the real Gary Neville. Imagine the real Gary Neville's on the terrace putting that in. It's not about getting top players anymore. It's about chemistry, which Liverpool showed. United are bang average. Arsenal have impressed me more. Arsenal in the last 4 or 5 games have definitely been more impressive. Class A managers, Conte, Zidane, Valverde, Pirlo.
Why is Pirlo there?
Pirlo there. Premier League experience, Howe, Hodgson, Wilder, Lampard. I don't know if you would pick any of these. Well, I'd pick Conte and Zidane. Valverde, I don't know enough about personally, so I'm not going to pass judgment. But the rest, like...
What about Sarri?
No. No.
Is it now, Lazio?
Anybody else notice how quiet United fans have been in the last 24 hours? Glazers only care about their NFL team who's about to win another Super Bowl. Well,
they win another Super Bowl.
I've been here. There we go. Listen, everybody that has tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We are back at 6 p.m. for the Bet Victor Top 6 show. I think it's going to be a fiery night tonight. Who knows what news is going to break between now and then. Make sure you're smashing the like button on this video before you leave. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you